Okay, hello there. This is the cards and advanced videos for Emperor only. If you want to like watch about Empress, I will talk about it in the future. I'm actually making a video right now, and but because of Emperor and Empress, they have different exclusive cards, so I will talk about Emperor in this video first. Okay, let's go. First thing first, as I mentioned, these 3 cards are the exclusive one, and these 12 cards you can get it from both Empress and Emperor. And so for the first card, this is like the least important card in Emperor, because you can see in the description it helps you to enhance your auto attacks, and you can get a stack when you auto attack. So this basically only help your celestial ring to get faster, to get full stack, but still you can get enough stack with your Steam of Edge and Call of Destiny, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, you don't want to really auto attack in the middle of your rotation because it will slow down your rotation. So that's why this skill is the least important skill. So if you draw this card, you just spam it, you just use it, okay? But still, if you are good enough, you can actually add one of auto attack inside your rotation to get your stack faster, so that you can consume it with Celestial Ring faster. Okay, I will show you. Like here, you see my auto attack is just one way, right? If I use the card, it will change into 3 directions, and each time I attack, I will get a stack. Watch this. Like this. 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack. And you can see there is 3 number because of 3 direction. So if I get close to the boss, I can do 3 times of damage. Oh, it goes. But anyway, you get the idea. Okay. So with Steam of Edge, Call of Destiny, and 1 auto attack with 3 head snack, you can actually just spam the Celestial Ring right away, without waiting the Steam of Edge, the stacks of these skills. Okay. Okay, next one, Mayhem. This is also a draw to spam cards because it simply just adds up your attack speed, and it can stack up to 15% each time you cast one of your spells. And by spells, your cards, which means your Z and X, counts as a spell as well. So in case you don't know, when you use your card, it can actually generate the stacks of every effect also with your adrenaline. So you can see right now I have nothing, right? If I use Mayhem first, I will get 1 stack for adrenaline, and if I use other cards, I will get 2 stack. And you can see here, this Mayhem counts as skills, so it adds up my attack speed for 3% each stack. So for the mass is 15%. Okay. Okay, next one is Corrosion. This is also a spam to, draw to spam card, because it's just directly at your damage for 10%, but by chance it's 30% chance. So this card has nothing special to mention about. You can just use it whenever you draw it. Okay, next one, Joy. This card, I will read the description first, see if you guys do understand. Remaining cooldown of all skills except Awakening skill, Movement skill, and Stand up minus 15%, and have half chance to reduce cooldown by 30%. Okay, so it has some of the RNG, but in minimum it decreased your cooldown by 15%. But you have to bear in mind that it is remaining cooldown, so make sure you use your skill before you use the joy card. If I use joy card here, which I haven't used any of my skill, it does nothing. Okay, but if I use one of my skill like here, oops, I need to set the cooldown first, like here 14 seconds, and I use this, it will decrease. So make sure you use your skill first, and the best method to use this card is you use 2 of these skill which do the most damage, and use the joy card immediately to get the most effective effect. Okay, so don't use the joy card before these kind of useless skills. I mean, not useless, but not damage directly skill. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, next one, Twisted Fate. This is one of your important cards because it directly increase your damage by 40%. It's huge, it is a lot, but it also had chance to do nothing. So basically how it works is, when you use this card, it will have a chance, either it gives you 40%, 30%, 20%, or 10% buff. Okay, it's an RNG stuff. Or the worst case is you have a debuff here which does nothing, but it won't decrease your damage, no worries. The worst case is you draw an empty card. I mean, you use the empty card. Okay, so I will show you the effects of it. So right now, you will see there is a white words popping off if I use this card. If I use this card, and if it is white, it means it draws me a 10 to 30% damage increase. And if it is yellow, it means I get the mass effect, which is 40%. And if it doesn't do nothing, there it will show nothing here. Okay, watch. White. So this is 10 to 30%. Okay. Okay, I will do it one more time. Nothing. So right now you can see a debuff here, and you can see no words here. So you don't have to actually see your buff or debuff bar. You can just tell it by watching the head of your character. And this one synergy with your Edgervin very well. If you can draw the yellow words, which is the 40% increase, but it is pretty much a RNG card, so you have to pray for it. So okay, the ghost card. This is also a card that whenever you draw it, you just use it. You don't have to think about it, because it just simply increase your movement speed. And if we are using Emperor, we already have a cap of movement speed, so nothing worry about this card. One of the special thing is it has the effects of ignore collusion from monster, but not the boss. See this kind as a boss. So if I use this, it does nothing. I still not go through it. But if there is monster like you are farming a chaos gate, or you are in the middle of some raid gate like Arcana, there is some mobs there, you can go through the mobs. But I guess at the end of the day, this doesn't really matter, right? You can see I cannot go through this. So not going to talk about this. Cull. This is also one of the most damage card here, which directly increase your crit damage, and you always crit. You have 100% crit rate if you use this card with 4 seconds. But make sure you are attacking one mobs only. Okay, so if there are 2 mobs, or like when you are fighting, you know, Arcana Gate 3, where at the end of the boss, the 30 HP one, they have huge mobs, right? So you cannot use Curd here. I mean, you can use this card, but it does nothing when you hit more than one target. So make sure you hit just perfectly one target. Okay, and to synergy well with this card, you have to use this card within the window of your evoke, dark restoration, and return buff, whether you get your crit damage buff, and also, so I mean basically all of your damage skill. Okay, so what the tips of this card is, you don't have to actually use this card before you use the skill. You can actually see many of your skill are delayed, right? You can actually just spam it, and right before the second it pops, you use the Cull card. So you can maximize the time of these 4 seconds and to do as much damage as you can. I will show you once. So right now, the rotation is evoke, stream of ash, dark restoration, return, call of destiny, and celestial ring, right? After that we use unlimited shuffle. And I will use, you can see the timing of me using Cull here is actually after I pressed my dark restoration. So make sure you pay attention to the buff icon after I use this card. Okay, let's go. So you can see all yellow numbers, and I can get myself the crit rate buff on this skill and the cards itself. So you do huge damage with this time window. Okay. Okay, Moon. This may sound draw to spam cards because it simply just minus your cooldown. But in Emperor, this card is actually the tier S card, like beyond these kind of Curl, Twisted Fate, these kind of attack cards. Because if you watch my video from the basic stuff before, I mentioned about Arcana, the core is your rotation, but not your cards. And if you execute your rotation well, you do a lot of damage. And this card helps with your rotation so fast that you can spam every skills you want in 30 seconds. It's very huge. It's so good. This is like the best card in Emperor. So make sure you draw this card as often as you do, and you make sure you use this card right before you use this skill, because difference with Joy card, this is only cooldown minus but not remaining cooldown minus. So you have to actually use the cards right before you use the skill. Like right now here, you can see my dark restoration is 40 seconds cooldown. But if I use Moon and I use this, it becomes to 12 seconds. Not to mention, if we have in boundless mana stage, which we minus our cooldown even more, so that means we can use this skill a lot. If we can execute our rotation well, it's very huge. Okay, for the next one, Star card. Remember this card. This card is the worst card among all of these cards. It is actually not a useless card, but a bad card. Whether when we use these cards, we decrease our damage. So it's pretty interesting, right? So please, Smilegate, delete this card. You can tell the card itself give you back your mana. But if you pay attention, Arcana need to get into the boundless mana state, so you don't want to draw this card. And but the point is, we cannot get rid of the card, right? If we draw it. So the best way to use this card is there are a couple situations. I will show you now. So right now, you can see, first situation, we have our full mana. Okay, so we can just use this card right away if we draw it. This is the first situation. This is the most simple situation. And the second situation, I will show you. Oh, I have to apply cooldown first. So right now we are entering the boundless mana stage, right? And if you have high cooldown gem, which myself is 8, and you can see your mana is not even half. It's not coming even half of the full mana. You can use your main damage skill and use it. So you're still within the boundless mana stage, and you can still spam your skill. You see what I did there? If you don't know, go pause it and play back. Okay, you can see I'm still in the boundless mana phase. Okay, this is the second situation. So for the third situation is either you are entering the map, or right now you can see my mana is coming back, right? Coming back to my magic addiction, right? So I need to make sure. So right now I'm doing ramp rotation, right? Like imagine I'm fighting in a real raid. So I'm spamming skills, spamming skills, spamming skills. And if my mana almost really close coming back, I can use the skill, I mean the cards, to get back to magic addition. So I can, you know, this situation, you can just, how do I put this way? By using like this, you can minimize the bad effect for this card. Yep. You see, you guys understand me? Okay, so basically 4 situations you can use. First one, you use it right away if you are full mana. Second one, if your mana is low enough and you are in a boundless mana state, and after you spam your main DPS skill, you use the star card, and you can still inside the boundless effect. And the third one, like what I showed you, when the mana almost come back, you use the star card to minimize the trap effect of this card. Okay, and for the fourth situation is before you enter the map and you have nothing to do, just use it, and by the end of you finish the map, you can use your opener again without the negative effects of this card. Okay, but still you don't want to you don't want to draw this card in any kind of situation. It's a bad card, please delete it. Okay, the royal card, I will skip the crown card first because I will talk about it by the end of me introducing all the cards, because this card is a little bit special. Okay, so the royal card, it helps you to draw cards like immediately without building up your meter. But the thing is, you cannot use this. I mean, you can use it right. In this case, I have a card from the left hand side, right? So if I use this card, I can only get 1 card. But if you want to maximize the card effect of this card, which is 2 cards, you have to use the other cards first, then use royal, so you can get 2 cards. Okay, and there is chance you can actually draw couple times of royal after you draw royal. I don't know how the chances are, but from my personal experience, I find myself a lot situation that I draw couple of royal, and by that time you want to act fast, you want to think fast. Like before I use a royal here, right? If this pops out here, I have to use this card and immediately use royal. And if there is a third royal, you have to think faster, because you don't want a royal to hold your card deck. Okay, it is a good card, but you don't want to hold it. You see what I mean? So the best method to use is you spam one of the cards and you use royal. But some of the case, whether you have your attack cards like here, you have to hold it and you draw royal, and if you cannot use the attack card, you can still, it is still acceptable to use royal by just drawing one card, because you can get the other cards anyway, because we are Emperor, we draw cards so fast. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. So this card is a really good card, and the effect of it is after you use this card, the next skill you use, the cooldown itself minus 100%, which means, simply speaking, you can use the skill twice immediately. And this doesn't only include these 5 of skill, but also, I mean 8 of skill, but also your awakening and your spacebar. But you don't want to really use it on your spacebar though. And with Emperor, you don't want to use it with your awakening, because our awakening only used for card draws, but they do not much damage. The only damage resource we get from is our yellow skills. So the best skill you want to use Wheel of Fortune is Dark Restoration, which is our most DPS skills. And the second one, you can use Evoke. And in Emperor case, this is only the 2 of skill you want to use with Wheel of Fortune. And most of the time, I suggest you use Wheel of Fortune with your Dark Restoration, because Dark Restoration is a pretty easy and highest damage DPS skill to hit. But if you choose to play with Evoke, you can still do, but make sure the boss won't go away, because if you use Wheel of Fortune, you will get 4 Evoke in a row, and this is a lot. This is a lot damage here, but also it has a high chance to miss. So I suggest you don't do it with Evoke unless you're fighting like a staggered boss or some boss that like Braille Gate 4, they don't move, and you can use this. Okay, most of the case you want it to spam in Dark Restoration. And if you have your Wheel of Fortune, I suggest your combo is Evoke and use your Wheel of Fortune and 2 Dark Restoration, and finish off with your remaining skills. That's the idea. Okay. Okay, for Emperor, this is a really interesting and a really iconic skill for Emperor. I mean cards for Emperor, because you can consider this as a skill but not a card, because not like the other cards, it does damage itself and it has a stagger, it has a mid stagger with it. So we actually need to put a damage gem with this card. Okay, but as I mentioned in the basic Emperor video, this card doesn't do like a lot damage, but it is a decent damage filler. So wait, let's see the effect first. So right now we have this, right? And if I used it, it instantly popped off in an AoE way. It's a large AoE circle and it's so fast. The animation is pretty cool, and we can use it within our crit rate and crit damage buff window. So my preference is, after we use our normal rotation, right after we use return, we use it. And this card itself can crit too, so you can see the yellow numbers there, right? If I used it without these two, it have a chance to do less damage. So make sure you also hit the Emperor card inside the window. Okay, Sovereign. This is the most damage card in my opinion, combined with Twisted Fates or Cull, because it directly increases your normal skill by 50%. But bear in mind, only yellow skill. Normal skills means yellow skill. If this skill and this skill is not applied with this card, okay? So if you use this card, your Celestial Ring doesn't affect at all, and it does normal damage as usual. But Cull is different. Twisted Fate is different as well. They apply every of your skills. So this card, remember, if you use it, only increase your yellow skill. But of course, it doesn't mean you don't have to use your red skill. You still have to use it, okay? And the same concept with Cull, the card itself, the effect, it pops immediately, so you don't have to use the card before you use the skill. You can use it right within your rotation window, so you can get the maximum effect of the 4 seconds of it. And the rotation is like this. So you use your skill, Dark Restoration, return, use your buff, use your card. So all of your skill can align with the windows plus the card itself. Okay. Okay, for the last damage card is called Chancellor. Chancellor, the effect of it is 10 seconds, crit rate of normal skill. Again, normal skills increase by 20%. And this card works well with all of the other attack cards except for Cull card. Ideally, if you draw this card and this card, you want to use either of them first, because this card is increase your crit rate by 20%, but this card itself increase 100% already. So you want to use Cull card or Chancellor card, depends on the situation. Okay, don't use this card for the same time. Okay, and same concept with the other attack cards. Chancellor, you can activate this card within the window of your rotation. You don't have to spam it before you draw the card, or you don't have to spam it before you use the skills. Okay, for the last card, Crown. This is a pretty interesting class, and if you're new to learn Arcana, it will easily mess up when you draw this card, because you have to remember the last card you used. So based on the description, it said you can copy the last card you use. So right now, you see I have my Cull, right? And like in the actual rate, I use my skill, and for the next rotation, if I remember I used a Cull card, I can actually use the Crown card to copy it back. So this card, if you use it well, is a really decent card. But I recommend you don't hold this card so long, because it will actually use one of the slot of your card. And if you constantly draw one card, which they are all useless card, you just lose damage by that time. So what you can copy from this card, I suggest the best card you copy is Moon. As we talked about, it is the most OP card in Emperor. But also, if you don't have Moon, you can copy either one of these attack cards like Twisted Fate, Cull, Wheel of Fortune, Chancellor, Sovereign, or even Emperor, if you think you are unlucky, because double Emperor sometimes can be good as well. So you have like a lot of alternatives and a lot of choice to pick with this card. But oh, by the way, you can actually use Joy, in my opinion, as well, to copy Joy, because it decreases your cooldown so well. And if it high chance, and it has a 15% chance to decrease 30% as well. So I think these kind of cards, whether you use it well, can make a big difference when you are playing in the actual rate. Okay, now that we go through all of the cards, let's talk about the best combo and what cards you should hold and what card you should spam it right away. And as I mentioned, some of the cards, which means I will call it with attack cards, you should hold these kind of attack cards when you draw it, and they are Twisted Fate, Cull, Wheel of Fortune, Emperor, Chancellor, and Sovereign. And when you use this card and how long you have to hold it, my suggestion is, after you draw one of these cards, if you find your combo is ready, I mean your skills combo, your rotation is ready for one burst within the burst window, I mean the buff window, you can actually just use the card right away. Don't force yourself to draw two of these cards. It will be ignoring if you wait these kind of attack cards to be appeared 2 times. So I suggest you just use one of the cards if you just draw it. And because we are Emperor, we draw cards so fast anyway, so you don't really want to hold your cards. Plus, you have this tripod which have a chance to gain you once cards as well. So if you're holding a card and this tripod popping out, it will actually eat one of your cards. So it is not good to hold a card really that long. Okay, and from my personal experience, I cannot tell you how long you have to hold your card. You have to feel it yourself based on the boss pattern, whether it entered the map soon, or you have your support buff soon, or you have your skill cooldown ready soon. It's so many situations that can bother you. So you need to actually feel yourself. You have to practice yourself of the usage of the cards. Okay, so for the best card to combo with, I mean the best combo card, you can hold Sovereign with Twisted Fate. So Twisted Fate ideally should be the most damage card because it directly boosts up your damage for 40%. And it can synergy well with both Cull, Sovereign, also Chancellor. Okay, so basically Twisted Fate with these and these can be a keeper as well. Oh, and also your Wheel of Fortune as well. So Wheel of Fortune with these all of attack card, except for Emperor, you can combo with when you draw this card, these two cards with your Dark Restoration or even 4 Evoke, and that will do huge damage as well. And all of the above I mentioned, if you draw 2 of these cards together, you can use your Atropine to get the burst damage. So this is pretty much all of the information about cards and my personal experience. And if you want to ask more questions about the cards or the actual fights in the raid, you can ask me down below. And I think that's all. Bye.